Okay, I think I figured out a way to cheat and play all the audio without paying for screencast. So you'll just have to try to differentiate my narration voice from my voice on the podcast. We should hear everyone. So we're going to do a quick and dirty, another editing tutorial real quick on a pregame. Going to try to speed run it. Let's see how far I get. So I've got our tracks in here, but I need to align them with clap. So that is
check.
That's a file of Josh just saying check. We don't need that. And we're looking for the clap visually. This is why you should clap with your hands directly in front of the mic and do it loud enough. We want this.
1, 2, 3.
We want that spike. The whole reason for the clap is to see it as a spike in the signal. This one doesn't look too... Yeah, I think that's it, but could be better, Josh. But that'll work. Line them up. Matt doing shift up and down to change waveform size, going all the way down. The clap will stand out more. That appears to be Matt's. Adjustments may have to be made sometimes throughout the recording if things get off for various reasons. I won't get into it, but sometimes you just got to do it by hand later on. 4 claps. I'm going to right click and drag all 4 items here. Tap G for group shortcut, and now they all move together as a group and edit together as long as I've got group on up here. Okay, and this big chunk over here is the longer podcast, Beach Boys Love You. I'm going to do the time selection over here for the pregame. If you right click down here on the time clock, so I've already selected minutes and seconds, it tells you it's about a 46 or so minute pregame. That's without editing. Anyway, so
2, 3.
what I'm going to do is first do shift up so I can see the waveforms just a little better. Going to do a split after the clap. Get rid of that stuff. Drag it aside. Find where we really start.
Okay.
Anybody get that Spotify Wrapped?
Yeah, I don't use that.
Yeah,
Spotify Rap, baby.
They did YouTube Music Rap. I would.
Oh, they do. They do it,
Yes.
and I got it.
YouTube does not care about music.
Nope. All right.
We have new information.
Welcome to Discographology.
That's
the
where Logan
podcast
actually
will-
starts. I did S for split. Put my cursor there and split it. I'm going to move all this aside. Right click, drag, move it aside. I'm going to unmute our intro. Drag it over. We're speed running, folks. We'll fine tune later, though. This is mostly for tutorial.
Welcome to Discographology.
Click the corner here and do a little fade in.
Welcome to Discographology.
And when you have them grouped, they all fade in together. See?
Welcome to Discographology, the
If
podcast.
that little overlap isn't perfect, I can fix it later. But I'm going to trim up the beginning of the podcast to the beginning of the theme song.
Welcome to More of That Presents Discography.
Loud as hell. That's how we like it. Of course, it can always be fine-tuned. I'm going to save early and often by hitting my Q hotkey, which I have hotkeyed the letter Q to save. Save your ass off. Don't lose things because you didn't save obsessively like I do. Okay, so what I want to do is on each of these we're going to maximize volume. Here's some industry secrets on getting volume out of podcasts and why is my podcast quieter than Ira Glass on This American Life. It's because you didn't maximize your volume. I'm going to click on my item here and do Shift N, which is a Reaper shortcut for normalize. Shift N, I just normalized it. That brought the highest peak up to 0 and everything else with it. And it tells you here we get a whole 16.7 decibels of gain.
Yeah, I'll get that.
You got to nab that.
Bucks.
You know, it's a funny coincidence. So now I'm gained up because I record at low levels and then gain up later. Josh, okay, we're gonna click on Josh's, Shift in. He recorded at maybe a slightly higher level than me. Got 12.7 decibels again.
Actually, say that introduction. I did think about.
Sometimes that means we got to adjust our. I have presets in here, but we'll get to that later. We're going to do basically we're going to normalize everyone. Watch. This is what I predict with Matt is that the normalization may actually go down and not up because Matt records loud for some reason. Nope. Pretty good. It actually added 3 decibels.
And then earlier,
Logan has some stuff included in his which makes it more difficult, but we will normalize it. Yeah, it actually went down ever so slightly. He was almost at 0 anyway. But we will balance all these levels as we go. Okay, so here's just going to watch and listen and see how I edit.
Welcome to Discographology, the podcast where we tell all the brothers out there that they better live up to their reputations and pass along good music to their siblings, or else. Okay, gosh darn, guys. Man, get me all mad. Sorry, I'm Logan, and you are joining us today in our talk on brother bands. But before we get to that, let's give Brother Josh the floor, and maybe he will pass on some sweet music to us.
You know,
I was making a bunch of noise. I'm going to mute my track for that opening, tapping the letter E, which is what I set my hotkey to for muting. The way to do hotkeys is in another tutorial. Josh sounds like Josh has noise in there. Hang on. So you can kind of see the noise floor there.
Sorry, I'm Logan.
Okay. To get rid of a lot of noise, I use Waves plugin RVox. You can buy this plugin $30. It is worth its weight in gold. Get it. Use it. One of the most valuable plugins I've ever had. $30. Anyway, so this gate will shut when he's not talking, and so we won't hear most of that noise, except when it opens when he's talking.
You know, now that you actually say that introduction, I did think about. I was like, man, there's a lot of bands that we've talked about that my brother did pass on. I mean, or albums, because Nirvana would be a big one. Pure Moods. We did the Pure Moods episode. That was one that my brother. I mean, it was one he had that he played for me, and I don't have any younger brothers to pass on anything. I have children to impart this on.
Okay, I'm going to continue with the edit here.
Sweet music to us.
You know, now that you actually say that introduction, I did think about.
And maybe he will pass on some sweet.
Logan.
Welcome to Discographology, the podcast where we tell all the brothers out there that they better live up to their reputations.
Logan's
and
track I
pass
could
along
mess with
good
a little
music
bit.
to their siblings, or else. Okay, gosh darn, guys. Man, get me all mad. Sorry, I'm Logan, and you are joining us today in our talk on brother bands. But before we get to that, let's give Brother Josh the floor, and maybe he will.
Okay, I had a noise removal plug-in for the previous podcast, and it was messing his sound up. I don't need it on this one. I think he got rid of the noise problem. So, it sounded much better as soon as I got rid of that.
Normalizing, the podcast where we tell all the brothers out there that they better live up to their reputations and pass along good music to their siblings, or else. Okay, gosh darn, guys, man, get me all mad. Stick to us.
You know,
Usually it doesn't take me this long, but I'm not used to trying to teach as I go.
The podcast where we tell all the brothers out there that they better live up to their reputations and pass along good music to their siblings, or else. Okay, gosh darn, guys, man, get me all mad. Get me all mad. Sorry, I'm Logan, and you are joining us today and are on brother bands. But before we get to that, let's give brother Josh the floor, and maybe he will pass on some sweet music to us.
you know, now that you actually say that introduction, I did think a lot of.
To us.
You know, now that you actually say that introduction, I did think about. I was like, man, there's a lot of bands that we've talked about that my brother did pass on. I mean, or albums, because Nirvana would be a big one. Pure Moods. We did the Pure Moods episode. That Nirvana would be a big one. Pure Mood.
Gonna unmute.
We did the Pure Moods episode. That was one that my brother.
From
I mean, it
brother
was
to
one he
brother.
had that he played for me, and I don't have any younger brothers to pass on anything. I have children to impart this on. So yeah, I picked up a few things the last couple weeks here. I picked up a few CDs, a few vinyl, and a few CDs and vinyl of the same album. So I went up to Kansas City and I texted Logan about record shops to check out, and he suggested Mills. I think that's what it was, right? Logan
Yep.
Mills. It was a really good record shop. I liked it a lot.
What I'm doing here is splitting, moving over. I'm saving us time. I'm shortening gaps.
Logan
Yep.
Mills.
Less
It was a really good record.
less dead air. Less
Liked it a
pausing.
lot, although I didn't end up getting
So
anything
the split and drag is one of the most valuable things you'll ever do in editing.
there, just because like I'm at the point in my collecting where everything I find that I really want is very expensive. Like I hardly ever find anything expensive. Like I hardly ever find anything anymore that I'm like, oh, I want that, and it's an affordable cost that I can, rationalize spending money on. Now everything I see is like $100. Like, ah, crap. But it's a nice record shop if you're ever in Kansas City to check out Mills. But I did end up getting, not on that trip necessarily, Jeff Buckley's live at Cine.
Okay, Josh goes on for a bit, but I think I'm going to run out of time on the screencast, but I'll come back and do another one that's like just me speed running the editing maybe. Okay, hope that helps. Thank you.